Hey there, so you thinking about moving to Boulder, Colorado? And maybe you've been thinking about living up in the mountains a little bit. Maybe you lived in Texas in the flatlands lands your whole life, and you've always dreamed of living in the mountains in Colorado. Well, today I am going to be talking about the pros and the cons and the ins and outs of living in a mountain house near Boulder, Colorado. This house behind us we'll talk about just a minute, all of the features that it has. So if this is your first time to channel, please tap the bell, subscribe, because we do these videos every week so that we can help people, whether they're moving in 9 days and 90 days, to make a smooth move to Boulder, Colorado. So today we're going to be talking about the mountains. So let's get to it. Hi, my name is Jennifer Bright, and if this is your first time to the channel, please make sure that you subscribe below, or send us an email, send us a text, comment, like us, because we do videos like this every week so that you can get a real feel for what it's like to live in Boulder and the surrounding areas. We get texts and emails all the time from people just like you that are looking for help moving to Boulder. And so whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, please just make sure that you subscribe, text, email. You could even set up a Zoom link and we can talk about your specific things. So let's get right to talking about mountains. So there's a lot of things to consider when moving up to the mountains. This particular house is very close to downtown Boulder. It's only like a 10-15 minute drive to Boulder. So you get all of the seclusion and the quiet and the peace and outdoor life of being in the mountains without having to be in the hustle and the bustle of the traffic and the students and all of the things that go along with living in Boulder. But you get all of the wonderful parts of it, which is the scenery and the wildlife, etc. So things to consider when moving to the mountains. So our landscapes are very dry, and so we tend to have things like fires pop up here and again. So it's really important that you have a really good insurance provider, and here at Bright Homes we can help you determine who the best providers are for mountain homes. But also there's the snow. So we tend to get a little bit more snow up in the mountains than in the valley. So like if Boulder gets, a couple of inches, we might get 6 or 8 inches. So you got to think about snow removal. Now, a lot of the families around in the mountains will share the snow removal, or they'll all pitch in and buy like a snow removal snow blower. But that's Addie. Say hi to Addie. That's my dog. This house in the background has a very steep driveway, as do a lot of the houses in the mountains. And so when you have a steep driveway, getting a snow blower is a little tricky because you're going to have to push it up the mountain. So just something to think about when moving to the mountains is you've got the snow to contend with. But on the bright side, it is gorgeous. It's beautiful. When the snow falls and you can see it for miles and miles and you have a view. So this particular house has a view of the mountain and has a view of the Flatirons. The Flatirons are the very famous jutted mountain rocks that you see that are iconic to Boulder. This house has a view of the mountains. It has a view of the city, so you can see all the way down to Denver from the back of this house. It's a 4-bedroom. It's 3 bathrooms. Let's see, 3.5 bathrooms. 4 bedrooms, 3.5 bathrooms, and it's got really interesting architecture because it's built into the mountain like a lot of the houses are. So when you're looking at buying a mountain house, you're not getting like a cookie cutter new construction necessarily, unless you buy land and build. But even then, you're going to be looking at different kinds of angles and shapes and windows because it has to be able to structurally be sound on the side of a mountain. And so it's interesting and beautiful and creative, and people like that about the homes in the mountains as well. So other things that you want to consider in Boulder County, we have a program called the Wildlife Partners. And the Wildlife Partners help the residents to make sure that they've mitigated for fire. So this particular property has been certified fire mitigation. The kinds of things that you look at for fire mitigation are having your land cleared of any kind of debris that would be considered kindling. So, fallen branches and any kind of like high grasses that come straight right up to the house. So those would be considered kindling. And also we want to make sure that the house itself has as little kindling as possible around it. So putting in like a hardy plank or cement siding is highly recommended. And also putting like rocks or xeriscape around the house so that if fire were to come up, it would get stopped by a barrier of some kind, most likely a rock barrier or some kind of landscaping barrier. So other things are, when you look at the roof, we want to look at if it has skylights. And some of the skylights are domed and plastic from being installed in the 70s and 80s. And so we're looking to make those glass and fire resistant glass. So those are some of the kinds of things that you look for. So if you're looking at houses in the mountains and you want it to be fireproofed, then those are things you can look at in the inspection as well, or that you can ask in an inspection objection so that, or add it into the price. So if a house has wood siding, it has a lot of debris in the yard, there's like a wood, anything that is considered kindling around the house, then you want to like look at that when you're making your offer, because you're going to want to make sure you take care of those things. Another cool thing in the mountains is to have solar, because typically in Colorado, we have a lot of solar, we have a lot of sun. So in Boulder, I think the average days are like 300 days of sun per year. And even after it snows, we typically get a sunny day the next day, which makes it even more beautiful. So if you're a big skier and you like outdoor winter sports, then that's really awesome, because you're out in the sun, but the snow is fluffy and you've got all of that great powder day. And when you live in the mountain, then typically you can get to the ski resorts in record time. So definitely want to consider that. On the solar, there's lots of different solar programs right now. You can either lease or buy, and a lot of people are choosing to lease because they'll come in and install the whole solar system, put in a backup generator, and you get all of that with no installation charge, and you just pay a monthly fee, which is typically a reduced cost from your current electric bills, because the solar is generating for you, and then you can take that off of your electric bill. So why is it important to have a generator? Well, up in the mountain, we tend to have some high winds, and we tend to have some like heavy snows that can cause power outages. So if you have a power outage in the summer, it's not really that big of a deal. But if you have a power outage in the winter, then it's nice that the heat is still running. And in the winter and the summer, both alike, it's good that the refrigerators are running and you still have, lights and all of the essential power that you need to be comfortable and to live. Another really cool thing about the mountain houses is that they're popular for Airbnbs, and Boulder County does allow anyone who their primary residence to Airbnb their home. So it's a totally different process if it's not your primary residence. It becomes a little bit more complicated, and they treat it like what they call a short-term rental, which is a more difficult to get permitted. But if it's your primary residence and you want to do any Airbnb, then you can all they do is do an inspection, you pay a fee, get your permit, and you're off to go. They do require the fire mitigation as well. So if that's one of your ideas for moving to Boulder and getting a mountain house, then you want to look for that. is it fire mitigated, or what would it take to get that certification? You can contact the Boulder County, actually it might be a state thing, but the Wildfire Partners, and they run that program, and they're awesome. In fact, they ran a little spot on Channel 7 News and talked about what it would take to do fire mitigation and what that program is, because they do offer grants and they do offer programs where they assist with the cost of doing the mitigation. Some of the costs associated that they do cover and subsidize are any of the arbor, the tree removal. A lot of times you'll have like small trees that they deem more flammable, and so they want to remove those trees. So some of that is covered as well. So anyway, this home right here is, I think I said it's like about 3,500 square feet, 4-bedroom and 3-bathroom, and it has a full walkout basement. So, you know, that walkout could be used for an Airbnb, and it's really awesome. So the cost or the price of this home at this time is about 1.5 million, and that is a lot more house than you're going to get down in Boulder. So that's one of the other advantages of living in the mountain house, is that you get more house for your money. But it does come with a little snow removal, comes with a little fire mitigation, but it's well worth it. That loves the views, loves the quiet and the peacefulness of living up in the mountains. It's really, to me, it's the views, it's the hot tub out on the deck, and it's like the neighbors all look out for each other. It's really, really a beautiful scene. So we can take a little look around this property and see what it looks from up above and down below. Well, this view does not do it justice, because at night you can see all the way to Denver. The lights are sparkling in the city, and it's majestic. The other thing that's really cool about the mountain houses is you get less light pollution. And when you have less light pollution, what happens is you can see more stars. So if you're a stargazer, then you would love it up here. Now, of course, if you live in Boulder proper, you can always take a ride up the mountain a little bit and find a place where you can stargaze. So that's really the lowdown on mountain properties near Boulder, Colorado. And so if you're thinking about moving in 9 days or 90 days, give us a call, give us a Zoom appointment, or send us an email, whatever way you feel most comfortable getting in touch. But we help people like you every single day try to find the right spot, whether it's in the mountains, whether it's in the valley, whether it's in Boulder or surrounding areas. We try to help you make a smooth move to Boulder.